Hi guys, we'll be on live in about an hour, so just hang tight. We'll get to you guys. Should we have you all set up here? Hi guys, we'll be on live in about an hour, so just hang tight. We'll get to you guys. Should we have you all set up here? Hi guys, we'll be on live in about an hour, so just hang tight. We'll get to you guys. Should we have you all set up here? Hi guys, we'll be on live in about an hour, so
Hey, James. I'll just go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with that post.
Okay. Now I can see your screen.
Okay. Hey, James. Just go ahead and I'm going to knock that down. Let me put my video back on.
So, do you have anything specific that you think I should cover on the free shipping? Is it worth it? I put together a little bit of an outline.
Great. I think just taking a look at our shipping rates on there. If you want to get to those screens, that way people can always go back and look at the screens. Might be a just so they know where to go look to find those shipping rates. And for me, like I roll that cost in basically and just say free shipping on some of the stuff that I have uh,
Yeah.
set up. So you can do that. But I have us going live right now. So we are there. So I'm just going to kind of leave. I'm going to put on mute if you want right now. And
Okay.
then we'll can come jump out on 6:30.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Um, we'll talk to you 6:30.
Yeah. This is
We'll,
a great thing for anybody who's coming to the site right now. So James and I are preparing and I'm going to leave you on this, guys, so y'all know that 6:30 Central Time is when we'll be starting. And just for you guys to note that Thursday, we also have a great series that's going to be starting once a month with Jim Landers here in San Antonio. And I think this is going to help any of you who are interested in photography or those of you who are looking to photograph your own art. Uh, the tips that Jim is going to give you are going to be great. So take a look at that, and we'll be back here, guys, in about 30 minutes to start our live chat for Tuesday. Let's go ahead and start admitting everybody in here.
Okay. All right.
Several people here to join us right now.
And we are streaming both on YouTube and Facebook?
We have a link on Facebook to bring you to the YouTube channel.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we still haven't figured out how to stream to both simultaneously, correct?
Yeah, it's still kind of a conundrum there without really picking up some elaborate software. But like I said, I think this kind of YouTube's a little bit more available to everybody. So if they have a Facebook account, they obviously have an internet access and they can go to YouTube. So this makes this available for everybody. If they don't have Facebook, they're able to watch on YouTube, and that seems to be working for everyone. So if you have so just a little FYI, guys, for those of you joining us on Zoom, we want to thank you, Bonnie, Carrie, and Wendy. Thanks for joining us. If you have a question, at the bottom of your Zoom bar, you have, it might show up as maybe more, there's the chat, and you can just click in there if you don't see the chat under participants. And just click on the chat if you have a question, and I'll relay that to James. And that's how we'll go ahead and do that. Is that how you want to do that, James, or did you want to?
Let's see how many participants we have today. If we have a lot of people, then we may do that. If we don't have, if we only have a handful on Zoom, maybe we'll just open mic it. And,
all right. Sounds good.
Just we'll go for a little while first before and then see where we're at, and we may get some people joining late. I don't know what kind of attendance or participation we're going to have today, because I was kind of lazy on promoting it.
I've been promoting it on our social, so
yeah,
that's a good thing. We also have a gym series starting on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
And, so we got
first Thursday, and that's from 4 to 5:30.
Correct.
Okay, so it's
or
different time block. Okay.
I think I have the time on there on the picture here. Hold on. Actually, I think it's 4 to 5:30 there.
Yeah.
And, we'll be jumping on with Jim with some great topics that he has, and he has them already set for the year. So we have all of our 12 topics ready to go.
Yeah, basically, people are, if they go to, or watch some of the episodes that we're going to be doing with Jim, is that he's a photography instructor, so he's going to be giving for free, at no charge. He's going to be basically teaching some of his coursework, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never, anyone who's never really taken one of his classes, either online or in person, they really will be in for a treat, because he really breaks it down in a fashion that when it comes to photography, that especially the technical aspects, he breaks it down into a format that people that are not very smart like myself can understand. I still have trouble with f-stop, and it's not second nature to me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I just don't spend enough time behind the camera.
I think it was when the math starts coming in on photography, when I started kind of losing where I needed to be with a lot of stuff. But I started with film, so
one of the things I've noticed is that people that start off with film, they take to digital photography it's very easy for them to take to digital photography, because the complexities of processing, or I don't know, it just, film is a much difficult thing.
Yeah.
Especially
when you're hand developing it yourself. I told people when I was in college, probably in my refrigerator, there was never any food, but there was always film in the refrigerator and Ilford paper to print on. in there, but no food, just that and photochemicals. So that was my bridge in college. But we're
I'm gonna
coming
get
up
some
on.
water and then I guess we can get started. Okay, I'll be right
Okay,
back.
go ahead. And we're going to get James situated. And again, we just want to welcome everybody and thank y'all and Happy New Year. This is the first live that we're doing for 2021. We've done several last year, so we want to wish everybody a Happy New Year and thank everybody for being great customers and for all of your patience through Christmas mailing. It was a it's a crazy, time of year every year, but much more so during a pandemic. So it presented unique challenges, but I think we did pretty good. And from all of y'all's comments and feedbacks, letting us know that you all were appreciating the job we're doing was much appreciated on our side. Tonight, James is going to kind of go over free shipping and should you offer it to your customers. And that's for you guys who have your Etsy, your Shopify. And he's going to really explain some of the kind of little techniques you can do in creating your retail price and doing your shipping. And he's going to talk about the pros and cons of offering free shipping. And we'll show you a couple of great things on our site. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and stop sharing my screen here as we are starting now. And we'll go ahead and I'm going to make our James here our host. I'm just going to pin him.
Still don't know why we can't have co-hosts.
We should be able to. I think it's a matter. I think I have to add you as a contact. I really think that's what's happening there, but we'll figure that out. Let me make you host. All right, James, and you have control.
Okay. For some reason, I keep losing my voice here.
Cedar.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for being with us. And this is a topic which it's probably not the most fascinating topic. It's business related, but we as artists, as photographers, we are in many cases, we are in business. We're in business for ourselves. And especially with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, it's forced a lot of us to reevaluate our business model. Every day seems I'm speaking with artists or photographers that walk into our doors that have taken their business online, whereas before they sold offline. And understanding the ability to sell online, some of the things that you need to be aware of, some of the pitfalls can make a difference in your success. And one of the biggest areas that people struggle with is with shipping. Now, it doesn't seem like something that would be that difficult. Shipping is shipping. But really, it comes down to, what do I charge? How do I charge people for shipping? Why is shipping so expensive? Should I charge what what I'm paying for shipping? So we're going to try to cover a lot of these, and I put together as something of an outline of this. I'm going to try to follow it as best as I can, and then I'll forward this as a PDF to Melissa because it has some links with some information that people might find, which supports some of the information that I'm going to be providing here. But first, I'm going to talk about the free shipping mentality. I think a lot of us have gotten spoiled by Amazon, the other major retailers, maybe Walmart. So many companies out there that offer free shipping, and they do that as a means of incentivizing people to utilize them. But I think Amazon more or less kind of led the way with Amazon Prime, but we become spoiled. Free shipping, we expect it. I order things from Amazon all the time, or our company orders items from Amazon via Amazon Prime Business, I think it is, all the time. And it saves us a lot of money because we do not have to, buy the same items from vendors that charge us shipping. So, and this could be anything from office supplies to just hard to find supplies that we use for the production of prints. But there is this free shipping mentality that people have, and people expect it, but buyers, us consumers, in many cases do not understand the cost associated with a company offering free shipping. And so this free shipping mentality is really kind of what drives us to have to look at, is free shipping, is it worth it for us? Should we offer it? And so I'm going to give you a few scenarios where you might want to consider it. And then we're going to talk about the pros and cons. We're going to talk about how does FinerWorks determine shipping cost, and how you might want to calculate shipping cost if you're using FinerWorks to fulfill your orders. And that'll be like the main ways to cover shipping cost. Before I go any further, Melissa, were there any questions?
Not yet. James, see if, and I don't know if everybody is on mute, locked on mute. You might want to see if you can unmute all, and if they, I think it goes back and locks them out if they hit mute again. That's the only thing.
Okay.
So if anybody has problems, I mean, Wendy was mentioning that, her microphone wasn't working. I wasn't sure if that's just a mute issue. If you have problems, just again, get on the chat, guys, and I'm watching those questions for you.
So do you want me to go ahead and unmute all?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. And if anybody wants to stay mute, then, I understand if y'all want to jump back over to that.
I don't see how to do that. It's not letting me.
Not letting you do that? Okay, then the people might have it on individually then.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure.
Okay. All right. Anyways, well, if anyone has any questions, please type it into the chat and we'll address those questions. But continuing on here. So first thing, let's talk about the pros and the cons. Let's talk about considering offering it first. Let's paint a couple of, let's paint some scenarios where you might want to offer it. Okay. Now, first of all, free shipping as a business, whether or not you are just the artist working from your kitchen table and studio, or you have your own, I don't know, manufacturing center where you're producing your own prints or you're producing some sort of good that you have employees around you. It doesn't matter the size of the business, but there are some things that to take into consideration before you consider offering it. At least this is what I think. One of the things to think about is, are you competing with a lot of sellers in a given niche? So let's say you sell something very unique on Etsy that's unique to you, or you're selling your brand that's attributed exclusively to you. They can't get it from anyone else. And that might be the case with artists where they're selling original works or maybe signed prints of their artwork. They're looking for you specifically or your brand specifically. Well, you might not find yourself competing, at least in the e-commerce realm, with a lot of other sellers. So does free shipping really benefit you? Does it cause people to go away and buy from other sellers? Well, probably not, because that brand is unique to you. But if you do compete with a lot of other areas, let's say there's a certain style of custom print that you're selling on Shopify or Etsy, but there's a lot of other people doing a very similar style. Let's say it's, custom caricature art. There's lots of people doing that. Then free shipping may be of benefit to you. The other thing to consider is the packaging. How easy is it for you to package, or how labor intensive is it? If it's something you can easily slip in a simple envelope and ship to your customer, doesn't take very long, then you might want to consider it. That's one of the items that would, or one of the elements which would make you think, okay, well, it's not taking a lot of time out of my day, so that goes in the favor of free shipping. The other thing that goes hand in hand with that is that a relatively low cost endeavor for you to ship. In other words, is postage, is it a high postage item, or, do you pay a lot of money on your end to ship it? And that could be directly to UPS, or if you're using a fulfillment service like FinerWorks, you pay a lot of money for them to ship it. And then, is your product a high margin product? Now, if you kind of combining this all together and using that high margin product element, if the margins are very high and the cost of shipping is relatively low, then free shipping makes perfect sense, because you're not going to be taking a substantial hit into your profit margin by offering free shipping, and you will reap the rewards of the benefits or the pros of free shipping, which we'll discuss here next. So there's a number of things. Before I go into the pros and cons, any questions?
So far, no. I'm just kind of thinking of when you're talking about some of the cost of shipping. What size, James, do things begin to be crated through FinerWorks? And like with canvas and custom framing, is it over 40 inches on the smallest dimension that we end up going into a crate?
Right offhand, that changes sometimes. We look at several things, not just the width and height, but we also look at the what's called the dimensional weight, which is the width, height, and depth. Mm-hmm. How that affects the dimensional weight. It also has to do with the type of product that we're shipping. Like, for instance, we have some frames which, some of the lower quality frames, the lower end, or the more economical frames, that the materials the wood isn't as dense, and so they don't hold up as well during shipping. So we might have to package those in a crate if it's a very big item. Yeah. Things that are more likely to get damaged during shipping. So it does kind of change, but usually in many cases, if it does not fit in a 35, one of our largest pre-made boxes, which is 35 by 6 by 44, I think. If we cannot safely package a print, whether it be a canvas, frame print, middle print, etc., in that box, or a custom sized box that's smaller, then a lot of times we'll crate the item. But like I said, that can change. We got 2 guys that work in the warehouse, and that's probably half of their work week is making crates.
Yeah, and like I said, having done production and doing packaging and stuff too, it's one thing, even as a customer of FinerWorks, when I've ordered stuff and been able to, send friends through FinerWorks, working in galleries and stuff, when we've had to go price out a crate just to get the crate made, not even shipping, I'm looking anywhere sometimes about $200 to $500 on custom crates being made. And we've been working with a client from New Orleans since I think I started at FinerWorks, and she has always talked about, because she's ordered grand over 40 inches, almost like 50 inches canvas. And she orders several at a time to keep her gallery in stock. And she's always commented on how well our crate has come there to her. And I think that's something too that I think we give to our customers that they don't know behind the scenes, because sometimes it's sent off somewhere else. But that the crate work that goes into our packaging is
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that if you're looking to make money off of what you charge for shipping, uh, don't, because
Yeah.
you will inevitably lose. You'll either lose customers because your shipping costs are too high, or you'll lose because you won't be able to sustain that. Uh, you just won't be able to, uh,
sustain the cost of it.
yeah, it's,
You lose money at providing the shipping.
yeah, shipping should never be looked at as an asset for a company, whether, if you're an individual artist, look at shipping as a liability. Always look at it as a liability. Expect to pay more than what you bring in for shipping. So that brings up an important aspect of when determining shipping charge, and we'll talk about this toward the end here, but that is always try to keep the cost of shipping in mind when you price your products. If you have us, FinerWorks, print and ship your items, and you want to, let's say it's a simple 16 by 20 print, you want to charge $50 to your buyers for that print. And it costs you $20. I'm just throwing a number out there. So your margin is $30, and you want $30 as your margin. Well, then don't charge $50, because you also have to pay for shipping, and shipping might be $10. So raise your price to $60 to account for that margin. But we'll go into more of that in a little bit. So instead, I want to talk about the pros and the cons. So there are a number of pros with increased shipping, and I visit this quite often, at least once a year, for FinerWorks. Is this something that we should adopt? And it always comes down to me reminding myself that if we do this, we have to raise prices on our products. So early on, if we had done this early on, it probably would have been better. But for now, it's probably too late. But it may not be too late for you. So let's look at some of these pros and how you can benefit if you decide to go down this route. The main thing is it increases sales. So some of the research that I did on this and some of the information that I pull up is that online shoppers prefer the cheapest shipping option 2 out of 3 of the times that they shop online. So they're looking at what is the cheapest option, and if you offer free shipping and then maybe an elevated shipping option, such as 3-day shipping or UPS round shipping, they're going to go 2 out of 3, say 66% of the time they're going to go with the free shipping option. Okay. 9 out of 10 shoppers are motivated to shop online when free shipping is offered. So in other words, 90% of the shoppers are more likely to utilize online shopping when there's free shipping. I think that statistic might be a little misleading now, especially with the COVID-19 situation as it's been. It's forced many more people to shop online, and many of you artists out there have been able to benefit from that. Now, free shipping offers that save customers, and comes from a economist by the name of David Bell, but he's looked at this and he's determined that free shipping offers that save customers, say, $7, appeal more to shoppers than $10 discounts on products. So even though they save more with a discount, they feel like they reap a greater savings if they save less on free shipping. And it's because that they see, oh, I'm saving $7 on shipping on a service. I'm getting free shipping. It's not that I'm saving $7. I'm getting something free versus I'm saving $10 on a product. Now, this one, when a free shipping threshold was offered, such as free shipping on orders over $75 orders, over $75, orders were shown to increase by 9%, and this comes from Red Door. And we'll post this in a PDF with a link so you can read this. So so in other words, let's say you decide I'm going to offer free shipping only if a customer pays for an order of $75 or more. Orders increased by 90%. Now that's a lot. That's almost double. So that's according to Red Door. So I'd be curious to learn that. That seems maybe a little bit over what I would estimate, but it's something to maybe test out. 58% of e-commerce customers add products to their cart to qualify for free shipping. So again, it increases sales. 83% of shoppers can willingly wait an additional 2 days for delivery if shipping is free. So in other words, if you offer an option for free shipping, but tell them, hey, it's going to take a little bit longer, a lot of times they will opt for the free shipping. And if you utilize that slower shipping method, you're going to save on shipping, what it costs you to ship that item. 75% of shoppers expect delivery to be free, even for order values below $50. So there is a good percentage of shoppers out there, buyers out there that, again, that expect it. So keep that in mind. And then they say 65% of shoppers check free shipping thresholds before adding items to their cart. So that's over half your potential buyers are first researching how much is shipping and is it going to, what do I have to do to get free shipping? So all these statistics, these numbers lead me to believe that people are searching for sellers that are offering free shipping. Now, again, let's go back to what I said earlier, is if you're offering something very unique, specific that they have to go to you for, then free shipping may not make sense. There may not be any need to offer free shipping. The only thing you're doing is you're really, shooting yourself in the foot, because you're taking money, you're giving away money that could be coming to you. One of the other things that the other pros, the second one, is it creates more loyal customers. Customers are more likely to go to the same buyer because they know a service does not charge them versus a competitor. And then this is the primary reason that you may want to, the benefit of offering free shipping is it decreases abandonment at checkout. So we in the e-commerce world, like FinerWorks, we look very closely at cart abandonment. and Shopify and some of these other e-commerce platforms, they have these tools where they give you statistics that what percentage of people add items to the shopping cart and then don't complete the checkout process. And there's all these techniques that can be utilized. Services like Shopify even have apps to try to incentivize people to complete the checkout process. And if you're getting a handful of orders a week or even a month, then it's really hard to look at shopping cart abandonment and how it impacts your business, because you don't see these great numbers. But if you're doing 1-2 orders a day, and you look at that period over over a month, and you're losing, let's say you have a shopping cart abandonment of 60%, then the reason might be that it's because of the extra cost, including shipping. So you want to look at the shipping cost and see, is by charging people shipping, am I losing potential business? So 3D Cart, which is a e-commerce platform, they discovered that 60% of shoppers abandon their carts because of extra costs, and shipping is one of the primary reasons for that. Unacceptable shipping cost is the main reason why online shopping conversions drop significantly, according to a service called Rejoiner. So even if you don't offer free shipping, look at the shipping costs themselves, because if your shipping costs are too high, then people do not feel that they're going to feel like they're getting cheated. That's one of the things that we at FinerWorks, we look at closely as well. We take a big hit on shipping, and I wish we could lower our shipping costs so that we didn't take a greater hit. I wish we could increase our shipping costs so we didn't take a greater hit, but we can't. It's really hard for us to do that, because as we increase shipping costs, people let us know. When we've done that in the past where we've had no choice. What we try to do is we try to negotiate with UPS, USPS. They're a little bit harder to negotiate with. We regularly negotiate rates. So while UPS is charging most people more, a lot of times we're able to kind of maintain that status quo by negotiating rates so that our rates don't go up like everyone else's does.
And that's also because of our volume of shipping.
Yeah, there's been a steady increase in volume over the past every year. I was going to say recent years. So it always gives us a greater places us in a better position to negotiate those rates.
James, I think a good thing to point out here might also be, I know a lot of people ask us is, why isn't there just one flat rate? And I think that's because a lot of people don't understand what all goes into the calculation of shipping. Did you want to touch on that? Just because I think once people start to understand the complexity of coming out actually with even a shipping quote really is.
Yeah, I'm actually that's one of the things that I want to touch on. After we talk about the cons, I was going to go into how does FinerWorks determine shipping costs.
Okay.
And so,
good topic.
I think that should cover that.
Yeah.
So let's look at the cons of offering free shipping. I think that should be pretty obvious. One, of course, is loss of revenue. Now, again, shipping is not meant to be an asset. Shipping should always be looked at as a liability, but
cost.
If you can limit that liability, make it so that it costs you less, great. Okay, but if you offer free shipping, there is that liability. someone has to pay for it. Free shipping is not free, really. But if you offer free shipping, the person that's going to pay for it means you, the seller. Now, even if you don't offer free shipping, you're still going to pay for it in some form or fashion. Never try to say, okay, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to, for every dollar that I spend to ship something out, I'm going to collect that from the seller. It's very difficult to do in the e-commerce realm. Amazon takes a loss on shipping, even though they do their own shipping now in many cases. But every major company out there, they take some sort of loss, regardless whether or not they're charging for shipping or not. Expect to lose money on shipping. Now, but that's where you pad it into your prices. So you try to minimize what you lose on shipping, regardless of whether it be free shipping or you're collecting something for shipping. Now, one of the cons is that free shipping can be used as a promotional feature or promotional option, especially during slower times. But you can't utilize it as a promotional option if you're always using it. Now, one of the problems, one of the mistakes people do, though, if they utilize it too often, then as a promotional feature, and it's kind of a little bit of a tangent here, but if you do it too often, then you will only get people buying from you when you offer free shipping. So just kind of keep that in mind if you choose to use it as a promotional, as a way, as hey, an excuse to send out a special to your people on your lead list. And then the other cons of is you have to, it forces you into determining a fair price. In other words, it forces you to not be lazy, for lack of better terms, because free shipping is it's a lot easier if us as FinerWorks say, hey, let's just offer everyone free shipping, and then we don't have to deal with the headache of trying to calculate shipping costs and all that. But while that would be easy, it would hurt our bottom line a lot more, and then we'd be ultimately forced to raise prices somewhere else. Now, how does FinerWorks determine shipping costs? And I think that's, Melissa, that's what you were wanting me to address. What was the question you asked me again?
I think people were asking, why is there not one flat rate for shipping? Okay. And I don't think they understand the complexity of kind of what goes into shipping cost.
So years ago, we did try that. We tried one flat rate based method for shipping. Back then, the only thing we shipped were stretched and mounted canvas prints, and the average shipping cost for those stretched and mounted canvas prints, what we determined was about $15. And we shipped everything UPS ground. I think that was the only, we didn't use the post. No, we did. Did we use, I can't remember. But regardless, I do remember coming up with a number of about $15 was our average shipping cost. I think at the time, shipping, the actual postage cost or what we paid UPS was around, $11, $12, and then shipping supplies was around $3. So that's how we came up with that structure. A few years later, we started offering other items. We started offering 8x10 fine art paper prints, up to, but I don't remember what the max size back then, maybe 20x30. But anyway, we started getting a lot of people ordering these small prints, and we started offering unmounted canvas prints. That was it. that came first. And they were ordered 8x10 unmounted canvas prints. Well, we could easily just roll them up in tube and ship them. And, you know, the print itself might have been $10, but people didn't want to pay $15. And it wasn't so much people expressing outrage. I mean, I saw that right away. I said, you know, hey, you know, we're charging $10 for this print now. We're, you know, so, you know, our goal was to try to increase our volume of sales by shipping a lot of, you know, lower cost items. But I couldn't expect people to pay $15. That was just outrageous. It cost us, I think, I think we back then we offered to ship it priority mail, and I think the cost was like $7, $8, something like that. And so so we had to come up with another flat structure for explicitly or specifically those items that weren't having to be shipped in big bulky boxes. That trend continued where we added other types of products, other options such as mounting canvas on artboard or offering paper prints. And so as we added more product combinations, it changed how those items had to be packaged. And so we were constantly discovering we were trying to always find that Goldilocks zone for those items that need to be shipped, you know. And so that created these series of tier structures that we kind of follow still. It's become a little bit more complex since then, but now what we do is we utilize an algorithm that looks at the products, tries to determine the dimensions that product is going to be, combined with the dimensions of all the other products, and figure out what options should we offer our customers as far as rates. Now, we don't charge them based upon destination unless it's international, but we have it's a percentage rate that we use for international, but we don't charge specifically if it's going to Aspen, Colorado versus New York City. We don't have a different rate structure based upon the geographical location if it's staying within the United States. But what we do have is we have different rates dependent upon, and this was the other thing that we had to factor in. People demanded more than just ground shipping. They wanted express shipping. They wanted 2-day shipping. So we had to create additional rate structures. So yes, we could go back and offer one flat rate, you know, say $15, but how many people, again, would want to pay $15 to ship
An 8x10.
say, this single sticker?
Yeah.
Well, they can't order single stickers anymore, I don't think. But let's say if this was I don't know, they could order it as one of we have these pillowcases, you know, I think they put them in, our shipping department just puts them in a little special bag, and it's like, yeah, it's not very expensive to ship. So, yeah, so it's just, it takes it out of it becomes unreasonable for us to offer it both, you know, or at least in the eyes of the customer. And we want to be fair with the customer. And that's very important, is you have to find a rate that is not only going to be fair to you, but also going to be fair to the customer.
Yeah. And I think also what people don't understand too, even when they're trying to price their own shipping, is you cannot possibly even think of an average of how many, like you said, standard USPS mailing to a specific zip code are you going to get? And I think shipping
No.
changes per region. And so that is part of the reason and we cannot say, well, we know exactly, or even an average of how many prints the average customer is going to be of the average size. There's no way to come up with enough predictive math that would give
No.
anybody the foresight to kind of come up with a shipping rate to where they could work on averages.
Yeah, it's very hard. We have, when you take into consideration all the different frame molding sizes, the print media that we offer, the canvas size, all the custom sizes, we have millions of product codes,
Mm-hmm.
and the weight, the number of weight and and size differences are it's just too much to count. And so someone could order some weird size print, which is let's say a 10 by 40 frame print with an 8 by 10 canvas and a 40 by 60 unmounted fine art paper print. They all have very, very different packaging requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we like I said, shipping is a liability, and that's an area where we take quite a hit quite often. Is a lot of times we'll have to package and ship things in multiple packages, and we pay 2-3 times what we charge for shipping that order. So now, some orders we do gain a little, some orders we lose money, and we try to average that out so that I say we've never been able to successfully average it out so that we're
breaking even, really.
Yeah, we're breaking even. No, we're just trying to make it so that we're not losing as much money on shipping and trying to get closer to that breaking even as possible. But yeah, so we always, it is something we always lose money on, but we goes back to making the cost fair for the customer and the seller. Now that's relative. What is fair for me what I think is fair for the seller might not be what the seller thinks is fair, and we take that into consideration. We try to look at that. If we've experimented with shipping options where we've charged a certain rate, and we've got a lot of feedback from people and said, hey, that's outrageous. I would never pay that much for that, shipping that. And granted, this was a while back where we tried, some kind of unique packaging options that, but it really didn't translate well on the web, that people understood what they were getting for. So it looked like a ripoff. So it didn't seem fair. So from our perspective, it looked, hey, that made sense. But from the customer's perspective, it was not. So when you determining your shipping cost, try to determine what you think the customer is going to feel is fair. Because if they feel cheated by the shipping cost, then that's worse than charging than not offering free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
James, do you want to share the screen and show where we offer our shipping rates on FinerWorks?
Yeah, sure. So let me get there, and then I'll go to the screen. And so, and this is a question, and Melissa can attest for this because I think Melissa's spent time in every department at FinerWorks, just about.
Just about.
Yeah. Yeah, let me go to share screen.
I've got the packaging wounds to prove it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So shipping rates. So one of the things that people want to know is, how do I determine shipping, how do I price for shipping? And especially if they're using FinerWorks as their fulfillment provider, you know. If you're having us drop ship the order, take this. I think this would be very helpful to you, because again, if you can charge close to what you're paying for shipping, you know, that if you can, the closer you can be to breaking even, the better. If you can break even, you know, God bless you. You know, I hope you can. If you can actually gain a little bit on it and still be fair, you know, not too many people can do that, but if you can do it and it doesn't hurt you, by all means do it. But, you know, be careful. Don't try to make it an area to gain money, because shipping rates change. You know, I can't say for certain that these numbers are going to always be the same. But you know, we definitely try to not change them that often. But we have, we kind of break it down into economy, standard, 2-day, and overnight, as far as the different classes of shipping that we offer. And when you go and check out, sometimes we get a little bit more specific. We'll say UPS second day or USPS priority mail. Those aren't always guarantees, because sometimes we can't offer, we can't actually ship those. For instance, someone might select UPS ground if it's given them an option, but it's a PO box. Well, UPS doesn't ship ground to PO boxes, so we have to change it to priority USPS priority mail. So we have these different classes, and we have U.S. Postal Service. By you selecting your preferred method, then that's the method we try to utilize. But if we can't use US or UPS ground, but we can use the Postal Service, we'll use a comparable Postal Service option. But economy, that's where our cheapest shipping lies. It starts at $3.95 to $6.95. And that could be anything from just a small print to cards. Now, $3.95 may seem like a lot of money for a simple card and shipping just a card. But one of the things we have to look at is not just what it costs for postage, but also the labor cost associated with the packaging materials. The packaging materials are just crazy expensive. You think, okay, a box, how much does a box cost? Mid-size, cardboard box this size, how much does that cost? Oh, probably, shouldn't cost more than 50 cents, right? Well, it depends upon the box. If it's something where it's a popular box that our supplier provides, and yeah, it might cost 50 cents, but in many cases that box we have to custom make it, and that's very labor intensive. And then there's the cost of the corrugation, or that box, for instance, a box that your canvas print, your 16 by 20 canvas print arrives and may cost us $2.50 per box. Packaging materials are very expensive. There's also the padding. We with frames, we buy these sheets of foam that we have to package and secure the frames to. Sometimes we're in the process of looking at a system that allows us to use this expandable foam that's fills basically these bags and expands and kind of conforms around the item, kind of creates a mold around the item. It really protects the item, but those systems alone, there's two systems we're looking. One, that system itself is like 10 grand, and then the next level up is 20 grand just for that system. Mm-hmm. And then there's the cost associated with buying the materials. So yeah, packaging can be very.
There's also time and training with that, because being an employee there and coming in production when I first started, I mean, I've never gone through so much training in quality packaging before, ever. And that was, I mean, to me, it was amazing to kind of see that kind of thing.
we have different departments. Like, so we have canvas, we have framing, we have our dye sub department, we have our regular prints department, and so we finally merged the mounting with framing, so that's kind of all combined now. But they all have different packaging. All those items have different packaging requirements, and it's almost impossible for one person to know, well, except for Rupal, our COO.
Yes.
Even though I'm kind of instrumental in determining some of these, I don't even
These
remember.
Omni, yeah.
Yeah, but they all have their different packaging requirements, and it just gets very very difficult to. The key for us, though, is we try to make sure that the items arrive packaged well, without being damaged during transit, while not being too big and bulky where it increases shipping costs dramatically.
Well, and even small papers, we sleeve those in archival sleeves. So that's another thing. I mean, a lot of people don't know. I mean, if you've bought sleeves for your own stuff, you know how much those archival sleeves cost.
Yeah.
And our smallest prints, we're putting those all in there. That's a big cost right there.
Yeah, and we don't get very good pricing on those sleeves either. So, but yeah, it's like
but
packaging and shipping a print like this is a artboard mounted print on paper, is relatively simple. So, but if you're doing a lot of 8x10s, let's say on an artboard mounted print, or on artboard, then expect your cost to be relatively low. Now, one of the things that I would suggest you do is not only look at the shipping rates that we're seeing on the screen, but do some mock orders. You can go through the process of placing an order at FinerWorks to see what you would normally pay. Again, where shipping costs can get a little dicey and become a little less obvious is when we start looking at international shipping.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've made a spreadsheet for myself because, again, I came to FinerWorks as an artist assistant, kind of looking to get prints and stuff and having to look at prices. And what you're saying is making the mock orders. So if I know I have an 8x10 print that's going to cost $10 on archival matte paper or something, and then I see that the lowest shipping cost, if I offer it as just, USPS, I would add that $3.95. So I'm going to say, okay, well, my cost then is, $13.95.
Build into your price.
And then from there, I would do my 2.5 times markup for my retail price.
Exactly.
Regardless, I was selling it online or in the shop.
Yeah, and where you can actually benefit is, what if a person orders 2 of those prints?
Mm-hmm. Because
then suddenly now that's where you actually make money on shipping.
Because we offer
that's where you can actually offer free shipping and make money off shipping at the same time.
Yeah, because we offer volume discount, and the volume discount comes when you order your second print of the same image, same size, same media. Yeah. And we offer volume discount all year long. You don't have to wait for codes or anything like that or promotion, because all the time you're on a volume, you're going to get a volume discount if you're going to order multiples. And like I said, when I price at that $3.95 on my 8x10s, and I just kind of put that all together. It's not $10, it's $13.95 in my head, and then I just double the cost on that, and that's my retail.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention is that we do try to place some restrictions on these shipping methods. Like, obviously, we can't ship an acrylic print, for $6.95, the big acrylic print. So we offer, like certain types of items, like basically your smaller items are going to be able to go via economy, or larger, unmounted prints. And then we have our standard options, which are, if you're doing frame prints, canvas prints, those are usually the standard options are going to be available. Now, once you start getting into where you want expedited shipping, and now that's not expedited production. People assume, oh, expedited shipping, that means it's going to.
Doesn't mean your product's done overnight if you just
It's still,
overnight shipping.
Sometimes things, the inks don't cure any faster, whether or not you choose 2-day shipping versus standard shipping. This is one where we really just kind of had to say, okay, let's do this and hope for the best, and just kind of say we'll take our losses. So like for 2-day shipping, we charge $29.95, and then for things like stretch and mounted canvas prints, acrylic framed wood prints, then we charge an additional 5% of that subtotal. Every now and then we actually pay less, but overall we just combined we take a loss on that. Same with overnight. But people demand it, and we say, okay, well, we'll offer it, but I wish it wasn't as high as it was, but really that's the only way that we can offer it. So it's a way, there's a little bit of give and take there, I guess, and I don't always feel that's again, going back, is it fair both to the seller as well as the buyer? Like I don't feel our 2-day and overnight is necessarily fair to us, but at the same time, I don't feel it's fair to the buyer. So it's kind of,
well, the way I see it, and I've been on both sides working there and, doing stuff with artists that I represent, is it, like you said, is to think of shipping as a liability. It's part of my product cost, so I just roll it in there together, because like you said, somewhere down the line, there is no such thing as free shipping. Somebody does for it.
yeah.
Even when y'all are thinking free shipping from other retailers that are big, like Walmart, even when you go in and buy something, the shipping and transportation cost of materials is wrapped into their retail price.
Yeah.
They may be able to make it a little less because they work in quantities, in huge bulk quantities, but like I said, that you are paying for shipping, whether you are having it mailed directly to you or whether you walk into a retailer and buy it, you are paying for shipping in that retail price.
Yeah, I would like for companies, just so people could get a sense of understand what's going on. It would be great if companies like Walmart or Amazon say, hey, we'll offer, free shipping, but this is this is how much of the price is being absorbed, or how much, how much you could save if you didn't get free shipping, just so people could see, but anyway, and then let's go talk real quick about international shipping. Now, a lot of people don't choose not to ship internationally just because it's a nightmare. Now, one of the things that with the and I talked to the UTSA International Trade Center. I had a meeting with them yesterday, and they basically provide businesses advice as to how to tap into international markets and so forth. And they're a kind of a think tank for at the University of Texas in San Antonio. And one of the persons that I talked to there yesterday, I was explaining the difficulty that we've run into with international shipping, which is basically the cost associated with it. The other problem is the feedback, based upon feedback that we get from customers. It has to do with taxes that might be associated with the destination country. Now, there is some good news on that front, and that's been one of the biggest areas of angst with our buyers is you get let's create a scenario. A typical picture is I'm selling on Etsy. I'm selling my canvas prints or my custom artwork on Etsy, and I'm having it shipped to my customer in Canada. We'll use Canada because they've in the past notorious for this. Well, the Canadian customer gets that package, and that Etsy seller offered free shipping on their Etsy site. Well, UPS or the Canadian Postal Service demands, you know what, that print was worth, you paid, $50 or whatever it was for that print from that Etsy seller. Well, you have to pay another $20 in duty tax and duty fees, taxes, duty, but in some cases, the European countries, they have a value-added tax, which is kind of like a sales tax. So suddenly that free shipping is not free anymore, and it leaves a bad taste in the mouth of that international customer. They feel cheated and say, well, I was told shipping was going to be free. They don't necessarily associate that, well, this is not a shipping charge, this is a tax. And you think, people in these other countries would be used to that, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are, or at least they
claim not to be.
Yeah. And so what happens is then, because of that, they post a bad review on Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like you've cheated them. It's not your fault. You didn't know. How are we supposed to know what all those charges and duty costs are? Now, there is some good news. There was a kind of rearrangement of NAFTA, but last year, which at least with Canada, Canadian, and this is what I was told, is that if you are shipping items to Canada and that item is valued at $150 or less, there's no longer these fees with Canada. So that's been a big benefit. I need to go back and look at how that's affected our orders from Canada. Canada is probably one of the top countries that we ship to outside the U.S. But I'm told that if that's the case, then that might be a reason for you to consider shipping more of your products to Canada, at least.
And just a note, a lot of Etsy sellers do copy this verbiage that we do have on our site, and they about international shippings, and they do have that on some of their Etsy pages. So if you have an Etsy or Shopify and you are doing international, that is always something to have there. It's just, an informed buyer, so that you don't have to deal with the nasty, I did not know. It is on there.
Yeah.
You can do your best to inform them.
Yeah. And sometimes it comes back to us because the seller, we have people that are, say, new to Etsy, and they sell to a Canadian customer. The Canadian customer gets mad, sends them a bad review, and then they come and, yell at us, say, hey, why does my customer have to pay this amount? And again, it's not our doing. It's not your doing. It's not your customer's doing. It's
their country.
Country's doing.
Yeah, and there's no way to know we can barely keep track of your own United States laws. Keeping the track of every country in the world's shipping and handling kind of things.
Let me give you an example. So we were kind of we were one of these, I guess, UPS likes to use us. Our local UPS rep, at least, used to, or still occasionally uses us as a little bit of a guinea pig to test out some new features. And they do this around the country. They pick different companies. And so one of the things that there was a company that UPS bought out a few years back called iParcel, which was a service, an international shipping service that some of these big box companies use. And so they opened up their their system for small companies like FinerWorks to take advantage of their infrastructure. And the way it worked is that we would take, let's say all our international orders for the day, and we would put them in, however many big boxes that we could fit them in. And each of these would have one, simple barcode. Each package would have a barcode, and we'd already, through the magic of technology, had transmitted the information to iParcel service. So all they had to do is scan, once they got this big box and opened the package, they took out all these parcels, scanned the label, and knew what code or what shipping label to put on it, knew what accompanying paperwork, customs paperwork needed to go on it, and then it went. Well, it became a little bit of a nightmare because they would tell us, okay, these are going to be the rates that the buyers are going to have to pay, when it gets to their destination country. And they were never in sync, or there was always this confusion with it. So, we ended up discontinuing using them. But a company like iParcel, which eventually, like I said, UPS bought out, I think just because they were competing with a service that UPS was in the process of developing, which we're now going to be supposed to be testing, similar service, but they could not get all the destination country taxes and rates and all that correct. So we kept getting these bills because we weren't supposed to pay those bills, but they were billing anyway. It became a big mess. And so, but it goes to show you that, keeping track of all these destination countries, and it's not just the rates, it's what the type of item is. Mm-hmm. Like we had to provide a different code for a canvas print versus for a coffee mug. And then was that coffee mug made in the U.S. or was it made in China? And so all these, because some companies looked at that, or some countries looked at that where others didn't. So international shipping. Now that I've scared everyone away from shipping internationally, take advantage of international shipping if you can. Now, FinerWorks, if you're using FinerWorks to fulfill your orders, because you don't have to deal with headaches.
Yes, we do.
Just keep in mind that you are going to pay quite a bit more, $14.95 on average, plus 30% of subtotal. Average transit time 1 to 2 weeks. It's probably a little misleading. It depends upon how it's going.
And it's changed country to country. I think during the pandemic, in some cases, at the start of this, they were holding packages 14 days in holding before they would allow their inspectors to touch it, which took another 14 days.
Now, one of the things people don't realize is that with USPS doesn't have these big jumbo jets with a USPS logo that ships to the UAE or to Israel or to Germany, wherever. What they do is they put all the international packages on passenger jets. They're underneath people sitting on the passenger jet. So they're lying in heaps under first class, under coach. So, and with and that's the way it works with them. So a lot of these packages were just sitting in warehouses, and because the number of international flights had changed, had decreased, and there was less room on those flights to fit these international packages. So, yeah, and that's still going on. That's still a problem right now. Companies like UPS and FedEx, they have their own fleet of jets where they're actually flying these to other countries. So that's less likely to happen with those. But there has been restrictions on shipping to some of these countries, and that's it's again like trying to keep track of value-added taxes, which countries offer it, are currently offering it or will be offering it. Same thing with the COVID-19, are the restrictions in place. So the average transit time, take that with a grain of salt. What we've discovered is, especially during the Christmas holidays, where we were shipping a record number of packages, and I mean, we were having I think one day we had it up to 4 package pickups because they couldn't fit all the packages in their vehicles. And they're coming in with these big trucks, but for us in some cases, or these like UPS trucks, not the 18-wheelers, but the bigger delivery trucks, to pick up our packages. And one of the things is we saw was the transit times, average transit times with the post office and UPS for certain packages were 1 to 2 days slower, because they had so many packages that were priority or were 2-day shipping, so those carriers prioritized those, and basically in many cases those became like ground shipping and so forth. So so take some. Right now it's settled down. I'm talking to our UPS driver today, matter of fact, and it's settled down in many areas, but still with the COVID-19 situation and a possible surge that might, if there's a possible surge after Christmas, then post-Christmas surge, then we might see that again. Hopefully not.
Yes, I mean, I noticed just shipping stuff from us through other things I was doing, like personal shipping, is I was seeing things leave San Antonio, and let's say I'm mailing to Houston, for whatever reason it went to like Tennessee and then went to Houston. And in some case, I think when I inquired about it, is that some of the hubs had closed down because of COVID. Maybe somebody was sick.
No,
Yeah,
I inquired about that myself, and it wasn't so much for that. They wouldn't close down the hubs, because what was happening is the hubs were becoming overwhelmed. They couldn't fit any more packages in that, so they were getting rerouted to other locations. And it was sometimes they would have less people on staff.
Yeah, that's what
people were sick. So other times it's just the sheer volume was the main cause of that. Amazingly, UPS and FedEx were a little bit less affected by that than the post office, but yeah, it did become a problem. There's a few. We may actually finish a little early for a change, but there's a few things I want to finish off with. How to calculate shipping costs if using FinerWorks. Again, add the items that you anticipate shipping through FinerWorks. If it's a wide assortment of items, try to, let's say you offer a canvas print, you offer just a plain paper print, you offer a big frame print. So you can come up with an average, see what you would pay on average if let's say you ship 10 orders, 10 different items. Come up with an average, do a little bit of homework with that. We'll try to give you shipping costs, but it's to really truly get that shipping costs. If you email us and say, hey, I'm going to send how much is it going to cost me to ship something? And the chances are our customer service will, and they're not trying to be rude, is they're going to ask you to try to calculate that yourself. Otherwise, there's going to be lots of back and forth with them asking questions. You might have questions, and it's going to take forever to get that shipping rate. So the best bet is to just add it to your cart, see how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to clarify is drop shipping, which is what we are. It's a service that we proudly offer free of charge. We don't offer. We don't charge anything for drop shipping. Is not the same as free shipping. Free drop shipping simply means that drop shipping as a service we don't charge. If you don't know what drop shipping is blind shipping, where we ship it, but we make it look like we didn't ship it. We actually make it look like you shipped it. So we don't charge to do that. It's built into our workflow, so that there's how we, physically handle the packaging, how we physically manufacture products, really no difference. It's all thanks to barcodes. So before you email us and say, hey, how come I was charged for shipping when it said free drop shipping? That's not the same
thing. Yeah.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the main ways to cover shipping costs. Okay, so one is you could look at our what we charge. You use a tiered method. You could try to copy what we offer, and I think if you placed a number of mock orders with FinerWorks, where you don't have to actually finish the checkout, but at least get as far to see what the shipping costs, you could kind of come up with your own tiered structure. It's a little bit of work, but it would work. I do know some of our users use that method. You could just charge a flat rate. This is probably next to free shipping. The other easiest thing is just say, oh, let's just charge 10% of the subtotal. It's not a bad idea to consider using that method. You will lose a little bit, you will gain a little bit. One of the things that we discover is that I think our average shipping cost, if we for FinerWorks, if we take all of our orders and we look at what people paid, okay, and what people, well, our average has been around 10%, okay, as of the product, okay, based upon what people are ordering, okay. Our average shipping cost ranges around 11 to 12%. That's what it costs us. So that 10% area seems to be kind of a nice, comfortable zone where you're going to lose a little bit, hopefully not too much. We lose, I think, and it's been a while since I've looked at these numbers, but last I checked, I think it was anywhere from 2 to 3% off shipping, because we were that much behind on shipping costs. And again, it didn't really take into consideration, the cost of some of the materials and so forth. But charge a flat rate based upon a percentage. Now, the second easiest method is to just say, you know what, I'm gonna just charge, $10, or I'm gonna charge $15, and I'm gonna eat some of that, I'm gonna lose some of it. If you do it, a comfortable number, and I think this is worth writing down. If we're gonna have a test, I'd put this as a test question, is $6.95. People, I think that's probably the next best thing to free shipping as far as what to charge. $6.95 is not, hey, that's not a crazy number. It's not, people don't feel that's a really high number. And they feel like they're getting a little bit of a bargain. And especially if you sell a lot of small stuff with a lot of big stuff, a lot of small prints, and you also sell a lot of big prints. That $60.95, you might make a little bit on the shipping of a print like this in some cases, but that little bit that you made will help cover what you lose on that big piece. Now, the other option is use real-time rates. Now, that's very difficult to do unless you have, let's say, a app or a plugin for your Shopify store, WooCommerce, or et cetera. They have these systems that can do that. But there's a few things that you need to know. And we have a lot of people that come to us and say, hey, I'm going to use real-time rates. So how much is this package going to weigh? What's the weight? What is the dimension?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have that information, you can utilize that. And Shopify and WooCommerce, and they have all these ways for you to input that information. But we don't know. We don't always know beforehand, because we don't know what is there going to be just this print in the order, or is there going to also be a big,
Metal print or something.
I don't see, you can see a print behind me, big canvas print and a frame behind me. We don't know what's going to be. We don't know how we're going to have to package it. Sometimes we have to make custom boxes. We can't calculate that. So if you're going to use real-time rates, you won't be able to use it with us, because we don't know what that weight and package size is going to be. But if you have inventory that you keep stock of, you might be able to come up with a way of doing that. And then, of course, like I said, you could use the tiered method similar to us.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, and again, the easiest is simply offer free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much all I had to cover. Is that any questions that
I don't see any questions, but James, can I drive the Zoom for a second?
Yeah.
I want to just show some people what James is talking about creating an order and seeing the price, and I'll let you see basically what I do with my own.
I need to
just make me a host.
Okay.
Participants. Go to participants and then hover over me and hit more.
There we go.
And then you're just going to make me host.
Okay. There we go.
All right. So let me get in here and I will share my screen with you guys. Okay. So for the artists that I work with, like I said, being an artist assistant, I'm the one who gets to do all this fun spreadsheet stuff. I'll just make a quick spreadsheet, product cost, shipping, if I have to pay tax, and the total, and then I decide what I'm going to do. So as James is explaining, let's say I'm looking at canvases right here, right? And I know I'm going to look at maybe a 16 by 20 is what I'm going to offer on our site. So I'm just going to go ahead, create a print. Here, I'll pick whatever we're going to normally do, canvas, artisan, thick, stretched, and mounted. And I'm just going to I'm not going for aspect ratio, guys, here. So I'm just kind of looking for that 20 by 16 on this. And because I love the professional tape and wire hanger, I always go with that.
Now that won't affect anyone's shipping costs.
No, it'll affect your price here. It'll add $10, I believe.
Yeah, it adds $10 to the product cost, but as far as available shipping options, it does not affect that.
So I just go ahead and make the product as I'm going to be selling it, right? That's it. And I'm going to add it to cart. And I'm going to view my cart. Okay, let me move this out of the way here so I can see. And I think it's in checkout where I have to see for my shipping.
Yeah.
So we'll get over to checkout. Okay, so here's where I'm going to just go on a shipping address. And I'm going to enter a shipping address. I don't know.
Now, what I would suggest is for, so you don't have to keep entering shipping addresses, is store your address and your quick checkout information.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could always use that as kind of just as a benchmark, because our shipping cost isn't based upon region unless it's going outside the country. So if you're just, put your home address in there, it just needs an address.
Yeah.
Then,
so here's mine in there. Okay, so we're looking at.
You do have to choose
The
The billing address, and you can just say,
use my,
you can say billing the same as shipping.
so we'll go there.
And
Here's
then
my shipping options.
Yeah.
So on this, because again, I don't want to be offering next day ground. So I'll say I'm, like he was saying, most people are going to always go with the cheapest. 16 by 20. So I'll put that $13.95 in. And I see, okay, $13.95. I'm going to come back up here and just look at my total for that. So my cost is and I'm getting sales tax because I'm in Texas. The $125.52 is my total on there. So on my spreadsheet here, if I put over here a 16 by 20 canvas, and I'll say that product cost was that 102.
102, yeah.
Yeah, so $102 there. And then I'm going to go look at the shipping cost on here, which ended up being $13.95. And for me, because I'm in Texas and had a tax in there, I'll just put $9.57.
And I want to just I want to mention something about sales tax with shipping as well.
Okay. 120.
You go ahead and put the total, and you can show the screen right here. One of the things to keep in mind is if you do have orders, let's say you have us drop ship orders to a Texas destination, we're required only if they're going to a Texas destination. But technically, we're another state comes and demand we collect sales tax for them too. But right now, we're only collecting sales tax for the state of Texas. But shipping is a taxable expense in Texas. So we do have to, so sales tax is based upon the product cost or subtotal and the shipping cost combined. That's how we
come up with the
sales tax is based upon a percentage. When you're calculating what your overall total will be, if it's going to a Texas destination, your shipping charge won't increase, but your overall total will, because your sales tax will
0.825
based upon what shipping method you select.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like if I had selected overnight, this would have increased, and that would have increased my sales.
That would have increased too. Yeah. So only in Texas. Now, some states, if they could come to us and say, Pennsylvania, I don't know what their situation is with sales tax, but there could be a time where we have to collect sales tax, where we start collecting sales tax for Pennsylvania or California, and they might not require us to collect sales tax for shipping. Different states do different things. But
that's pretty much what you were saying, is just kind of make those mock orders and look at your costs there. And that's what I do when my artist asks me to, I need to go ahead and come up with pricing. I do it that and 2.5 times. Some artists come in more and they probably will say, well, I'm going to roll in this rate here and not go off the total. And I'm just going to mark this up 2.5 times and then add this. You figure out what works best really for you. Sometimes I do have some artists that have me make several retail columns, kind of, figuring out the figures differently. But that's just one way to do it. You just come up with a spreadsheet and start putting in, and you don't have to do it by picture image. You're offering 16 by 20 artisan canvases, just a 16 by 20 artisan canvas. There you go, and that gives you an idea for your retail cost. And I actually use that even when I don't, do shipping. It's just my retail cost, period, at a show, anywhere. And then if I have it online, same thing, then it's covered. But I've even gotten to the point where I've extracted shipping from my total profits and actually have like a shipping budget for with one artist. So, like I said, some places you do win a little bit, in other places you don't. But that helps. Like I've had to honor an international shipping, but the thing is, I had that account, and that account paid for that international shipping without me going into the red.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the things I've discovered is the amount of work that goes into trying to recoup the loss on shipping is not worth it.
no, that's why I say I just kind of keep it simple like
Yeah.
that. And with, like I said, I work with about 4 different artists on helping them price and stuff like that. And sometimes it's really, it varies. You know, what works for one artist doesn't always work for another artist. They want different ways, but find what works best for you. And something simple like that will help you figure it out once you look at all your cost on here. Like I said, I have an artist that will just go by the product cost and they mark it up almost 6 times their product cost, and then they just add, if it's going to be extreme on the shipping, they'll add a small fee in there, but usually their cost will cover it.
Yeah. Question I get is what is my favorite method of, obviously based upon what I've said. The tier structure we use is not necessarily my favorite, but it's what we use out of necessity. But my favorite option, what I would like to offer, like I said early on, is free shipping, because I think that provides the greater benefits to both the buyer as well as the seller in the fact that you will have less shopping cart abandonment. But if you're going to offer free shipping, make sure that you can afford to do it. Make sure that the cost to offer it does not make it too expensive and it takes too much out of your bottom line. Pad your prices a little bit to cover it if you use it, and use the free shipping option. Not charge for free shipping, and make sure you promote it. And what I mean by promote it, make it be very loud with it, on your site, on your Etsy shop. Hey, I offer free shipping. Okay, attract people's attention. Use that as something to increase what we years ago when I worked in sales, what we called increase that buying temperature. Less likely people say, yeah, not today, maybe later on. If you don't do it on a offer free shipping off, try it, as a special, see how people react to it. Maybe it's something that you find is actually beneficial to you. Don't be afraid of offering it, but just be willing to take a little bit of a loss from it.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you have questions still, and we weren't able to get them, just put them in the comments or email us, or use the contact form, and you can send that to either myself or James, and we'll answer those for you. We'll have this back up on YouTube. Actually, YouTube makes the playback available immediately, so you're able to see this if you're just coming in towards the end of our live. Just a note that Thursday, again, will be our first episode with Jim Landers on photography tips and stuff. So I really hope you guys take advantage of that, because it's a really great resource that it's going to be made available to you for free. So take a look at that. Join us on Thursday. We'll have information in our newsletter.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll talk to everyone later. Y'all have a safe week, and Melissa, I'll call you shortly.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.